For the Challenger project, you research global best practices in fostering innovation through applied research. What is it about, shortly?
So we conducted our international best practice study on applied research in, as you said, vocational education and training in the first half of this year, 2023. And it features 5 case studies, most of them looking at initial and higher VET providers in 5 countries, namely Australia, Canada, Denmark, Netherlands, and Singapore. And the study, it basically examines how these institutions, or in one case, an organization, work with applied research to increase the quality of the education that they provide. And what I mean by that is that they, for instance, collaborate with companies or other public and private organizations on specific applied research projects that offer students a variety of learning opportunities. Students, they can be motivated to learn and improve their skills when working on a specific problem. That can be a problem faced by a company or an organization. And this encourages, motivates students to learn and contribute because their involvement becomes meaningful. This is because while they're learning and working, they can feel that, well, they're actually producing something of value to the company or the organization. This is, as I said, motivational. And at the same time, these kind of projects also allow students to gain insights into a specific sector that a company organization is active within, and maybe that might even be a future employer that they get to know a little bit through a contact person and are in touch with. And then, of course, what I haven't mentioned yet is that when you're working on a problem-based project, you're also really honing your skills with relation to problem-solving, innovation, entrepreneurship, and also you have to collaborate with people. This means that teamworking skills and communication skills, you're working on these and developing these when you're in these projects.
But can you describe me some best practices that inspired you concretely?
Yeah, I can. I mean, from a general perspective, we looked both in our study into how applied research is financed and organized and so on. But we also looked at what kind of approach are these institutions and companies are they taking to use applied research as a teaching and learning strategy. And when we're just, to give you an example, to look at the approach to this, I can name the Saskatchewan Polytechnic, or Saskatchewan, I think it's pronounced, in Canada. It's a higher VET provider. And there, the applied research is very much used to establish and maintain strong partnerships with businesses, local companies, businesses, and so on. So they are providing a higher VET, and what they're doing is they deliver innovative solutions for business partners. So the collaboration with business partners, as I said, is in focus, and students, they can volunteer to be part of these projects, which are sort of semi-professional in their setup. They can also get hired in and get paid as sort of student researchers. So here it's not part of every training program, but it's basically activities that the VET provider has to have strong relationships and collaborations with the businesses to provide them with solutions and product development, even in some instances. And at the same time, students can benefit because, well, the VET provider, the teachers, the staff, they're up to date with the latest technology in the sector or in the company, and the students have the opportunity at least to join in and contribute to these projects. So this is sort of one part. Then we have another example from what is called the Design Factory. This is an applied research center at the university. It's called the Singapore Institute of Technology, but it is a university of applied sciences. And there they have said, well, we want to have innovation and design as part of all educational programs. They have 40 different degree programs. And all students, they have to pass 2 so-called design modules. So in the first module, they are being trained in theory on design and innovation. And this innovation center or applied research center that I mentioned, the Design Factory, they support all the different teaching staff of the different programs so that they are able to teach the theory. And then in the second module, they actually have to do this problem-based learning. They have to take the theory and apply it in a project. And the interesting thing is that students, they are quite free to choose the problem they want to work with, and they're quite free to choose the methods they want to use, as long as it has some kind of connection with their studies. So for example, if you're in social and health studies, there were some students that went out to an elderly care home and just stayed and worked there for a few days to do some observation, to help out, but also to sort of see, okay, what issues are they actually dealing with in their workday? And then they found out in Singapore, there's a lot of high-rise buildings. So they realized, oh, there's not enough space for all these wheelchairs that have to be here somewhere. They're just standing in the way, and the elderly people, they can't get past them, and the staff, they're obstructing them. So they said, okay, well, we have never worked with 3D design software, but I think what they need is some sort of smart rack, a sort of shelf where you can just place the wheelchairs so that they're out of the way without, even that the elderly people can push them on and lift them without any strain. And so they said, well, let's do that. So that was a very concrete problem they worked on. Other students within communication did something for an advertising agency and were allowed to produce some marketing content, which they were very proud to be able to present. I think the company ended up renting a large billboard sort of screen in the city, and they were able to show their content there. So that is sort of the approach which I find is interesting for the Challenger project, where you're looking at how can you sort of make an integrated part of a whole institution or of across educational programs, that you look at how can we really integrate applied research as a tool for learning, as a tool for teaching. So this I found really interesting. To sort of look at that approach where you maybe have some sort of central unit. It could be an applied research center, where you have a limited number of staff working. And then you say, well, it's not on them to do everything, but they can basically go around to the different teachers, to the different programs, and provide their skills and help them out, so that every student in an education institution, for example, can work in this way.
What do you think? What are the biggest challenges or issues of real implementation, these ideas into practice?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a bit of a boring answer, but of course, financing is always an issue. That was mentioned by all the organizations that we worked with. But again, part of the solution to that problem, I think, is you cannot have sort of a general approach that fits and works for everyone. But basically, I think that the different education institutions will have to look into their local area, into their region, and see, okay, what partners can we possibly work with and what is meaningful for them. I know that part of the approach in Challenger is to see or to say, well, we want to be able to address the big issues, climate change, aging population, and so on. And of course, this is also very important, but I think you need to start with the small steps, and those small steps might include, okay, the partners that we could work with, what are they focusing on at the moment? What value can we bring to them? Because as soon as they realize we can contribute by working together, they will also be able to give back in different forms. That might be that they lend out equipment or maybe finance some equipment. But again, then when students are allowed to work with these organizations or business partners, they can then develop the skills that they might later on use to then tackle the big issues that we would like to address in the Challenger project.
Well, thank you for this conversation.